and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel, guys, because it is time for the Champions League quarter-final stage as Barca, in the first leg here, will meet Borussia Dortmund. And yes, the preview is coming one day early, quite simply because I couldn't wait. This is an absolutely massive game. It's a huge moment in our season, and we have big ambitions in the Champions League. We're going to be talking all about the game to come, what we face there in our opponents, all of the latest team news, and of course, big match predictions. It is on the way. Get ready. And let's do this. But indeed, guys, in order to crown the biggest occasion of all, today's video is coming to you courtesy of Manscaped, who, as we know, are a very, very big help to the channel and all the videos here. And they provide the tools for the biggest occasion. They keep you looking sleek, handsome, and on your game. And certainly there, if you're heading out to watch the Champions League there, if you're socialising with friends, I mean, if any of us can afford to go out these days after what's happening with the stock market. But look, guys, we would be happy to accept all the savings that we can get right now. And that is why you can get 20% off your Manscaped order using the code TalkFCB at checkout there. You can pick from so many different men's grooming products there. Like I say, fantastic, reliable, cutting edge, all the latest technology as well in these tools. And like I say, 20% off, and all you've got to do is use the code TalkFCB, and that will also massively help the channel. Thank you to you guys. But if we do indeed get the party started, because the UEFA Champions League quarter-final stages are here, and what we have coming up this week, Paris Saint-Germain taking on Aston Villa there. PSG, of course, fresh from knocking out Liverpool. Arsenal will come up against Real Madrid. Real Madrid, of course, who somehow found their way past Atleti. And then in the other quarter-final, it's Bayern against Inter. Now, that is an absolutely colossal clash here in the quarter-final, and that is a significant one because the winner of Barca versus Dortmund will face the winner of Bayern versus Inter, guys. So that's our side of the draw. That's what we're going to be keeping an eye on. And there is so much to play for here in the final 8. Because sure, guys, at the weekend against Real Betis, it's no secret there, we discussed it on the channel yesterday, that Barca, had a few frustrations during that game. After the game, of course, lots of things surrounding Raphinha right now, lots of mental challenges that we're having to overcome, and overall, we are all battling fatigue. Every single player out there, they've gone through it this season, they've already racked up so many games in their legs, but of course this is a brand new opportunity. And I personally believe all of that goes out the window here. I believe that every single Barca player, they know this is a big chance. This is an opportunity to do something truly special. And do not forget, we have seen this brilliant team, this special team, this outstanding Barca team go to new heights, new levels in this competition this season. I believe on Wednesday, we will come out focused, locked in, and make no mistake, we will be ready. However, guys, what is really interesting to note ahead of this game is that our opponents here, would you believe the Borussia Dortmund, they are 8th in the Bundesliga. They may be in the Champions League quarter-final stage, but they have really struggled in the league this season. Only 6 games to go, and they are 8th. Now, what I would like to say about this, and what we have to really acknowledge here today, that's not the whole story, though. I believe they have massively improved there since Niko Kovac replaced Sahin as coach at the end of January. And for me, their level has definitely gone up. They've gotten some better results along the way as well. And you can see right here, their form over the past games, it's been good. Dortmund have put some wins together. They put a bit of an unbeaten run there. Of course, they had a loss along the way. But in general, the confidence is much, much improved here. I think if you're looking at the stats between Barca and Dortmund in the league this season, you can see there's a massive gulf between the two teams. It's as simple as that there. Barca in the league domestically have been so much more consistent, so much more impressive in terms of the stats than Dortmund have been. But what is interesting right now is that when you look only at the Champions League, I think that gap between the two it's not as big. It's not so much of a gulf there in level, because Dortmund, they've raised their game in the Champions League. When the biggest of games have come their way, they have performed, they have stepped up there, and they've actually provided some of their best performances this season in this competition. So I don't think it's any use here coming into this game to say, oh, well, Dortmund are 8. It's going to be an easy game for Barca, so we should walk all over them. That is not the case here. They are capable of big performances. They are capable of raising their level. We saw them go deep in the Champions League last season too, and we know only too well what they can actually do. Because you only need to really look back, and it's not even that long ago really, when we met Borussia Dortmund in round 6 of the Champions League phase. And actually, that was the 11th of December. That is nearly 4 months ago now. I mean, wow, doesn't time absolutely fly? But guys, that was a really close game. I mean, Dortmund back then were actually not as good as they are now. They've gotten better since then, and yet that was a really tightly contested match. And of course it was away. Of course there we had our own problems. We had our own issues towards the end of 2024 too. So I think Barca since then too have gotten a lot better. But we can't forget that Ferran Torres, in the end, he won the game for us there. He came on as a sub, as he has done on so many occasions this season, and Dortmund had their chances. Dortmund had real opportunities in front of goal, couldn't take them, and Ferran, he was the man who was clinical. He was the man who won us that game. And something else, though, that's really important to note here, guys, is Karim Adeyemi. He is available this time. Now, he did not play in that game back in December. Now, he is a massive threat for Borussia Dortmund. He's a player there that can really hurt us with all of his pace, of course. He's got lots of creativity in his game as well. And he said ahead of this game, he is absolutely convinced Dortmund will get a good result. He is full of belief here. He's excited to be part of this game, and we must keep an eye on him. Having said that, though, he is not the only threat for Borussia Dortmund. We all know about the threat of Guirassy. He did score indeed in that last game we played against Dortmund. He can be a real threat there aerially. Of course, you've got to watch those balls coming into the box, and he is a very, very powerful player. However, guys, let's take a step back here. We've got so many threats of our own. Raphinha in the Champions League has been next level. He has been a different class, and we need him to focus right here. Of course, we've got Lewandowski. Of course, we've got the threat of Lamine Yamal as well. He's battling a bit of fatigue too, but we need everybody on their game. We need everybody focused here, because we have the tools, at our best, playing the football that we can. We have the tools not only to hurt Dortmund, but to hurt anyone. But in terms of some team news, though, heading into this game, guys, one man, unfortunately, we will not be able to call upon. Well, that is going to be Dani Olmo. He does remain sidelined, of course, after the injury that he picked up against Osasuna. This is going to be the 4th game now that he's missed since that one. And I thought we did actually really miss him against Real Betis there. We were looking for somebody to unlock their defence quite deep in the field and somebody just to play in that little pocket of space. And we did miss Olmo. But luckily, he is eyeing a return right now in the second leg of this encounter here against Dortmund. And that second leg is going to be coming up, of course, very quickly after the first, just next week. So Olmo there eyeing that return in the second leg. And also for Dortmund, though, they've got a problem of their own. They will be missing in midfield Marcel Sabitzer. He is going to be out there with injury, and I think he's going to be a big loss for them in midfield. He's really helped them control things, be the orchestrator at times there. He's a bit of a leader as well in their team, and I thought he played very well in the game against us back in December too. He had some interesting words after that game when he basically said Barca weren't that good. We let them have the win. We allowed them to win the game due to our mistakes, and it wasn't really because of Barca's quality. So that was certainly interesting after the game from Sabitzer, but he won't play a part in this one. Which is very interesting, because then when you turn your attention to the potential starting lineup for Barca, I think what's interesting here is after the game against Betis, a few people have been saying, well, is it time to shake things up a bit? Is Hansi Flick in this game maybe even going to rest a few players? Might he actually try and freshen the team up in some way? But I just don't see Flick here taking any chances, any risks at all. What Flick is going to do is what he's done all season long in the Champions League. go as strong as he possibly can. He is going to line up with the team that he feels has been the best performing, the most consistent players of the season, and let's go through how all of that might look. Because in goal, of course it's going to be Szczesny. He is still unbeaten, and still, it's absolutely incredible there, and long may that record continue. Along the back line then, it's going to be interesting. Are we going to see Ronald Araujo, for example? Is he going to find a way to force himself into this starting lineup? Well, in my opinion, I'm not sure it's going to happen. I think we're going to see Jules Koundé. I think at centre-back there it's going to be Pau Cubarsí and Inigo Martinez, who did not play against Real Betis, but is expected to be ready for this one. Alejandro Balde is going to be absolutely key at left-back, and I just think that back four, it's been our go-to. You know, Flick has known that if he chooses that back line, if he's able to put all of those players out there, we are more solid, we are more cohesive defensively there. They all know their jobs and they all know how to play with each other. In midfield, it picks itself. The pivot areas, Frenkie de Jong and Pedri. Now, those two are absolutely massive. In any Champions League game, you need the heartbeat of the team, and that is Frenkie, that is Pedri. The two of them have been playing excellently together as well. And then across the middle, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because I think we're going to see Gavi. I think he's done that. I think he has made it so he can't be out of the team in this game. His performances have been excellent. His level has rapidly increased over the past few games. Gavi has to find his way into that midfield with Yamal, with Raphinha. Lots of doubts, of course, about those two in different ways. Raphinha has had some mental struggles. He did have that big reaction after the game against Betis, and Yamal has struggled a little bit physically. But like I say, I just think they find a way. I just think in this game here, they find a way to provide their absolute best with Robert Lewandowski leading the line. I think that's going to be the team there that Flick just thinks, okay, that's the safe team. That is the team that's delivered for me this season. It's been consistent. It's provided quality. But keep an eye out, though, for players coming on. Because somebody there, for instance, like Fermin Lopez, I mean, look how good he was, don't forget, in the Champions League when we played against Bayern. He was actually deployed there in the number 10 role, and they couldn't touch him. You know, he was very, very impressive in amongst the spaces. It was a really, really good performance, and he has had plenty of those in the final third this season. And of course, don't rule out Ferran. Even if he doesn't start, as we saw against Dortmund earlier in the season, he can make his mark. He can still be very decisive coming off the bench. And we've got players everywhere. We have got players from every angle, every position, who can hurt you. And I believe we can do this. And well, I guess I'm not the only one, because when you're looking at the predictions from my community section there, all of you guys getting involved, and as you can see, there is real confidence ahead of this game. 35% believing Barca will win by 1 or 2 goals, but 45% believing it's going to be a 3+ goal victory. A 3-goal victory on the night for Barca, and that would be absolutely huge. And why don't we, guys, head over now to the SofaScore app, and why don't we put our own predictions in? Who do I think will win? I believe it will be a Barca win against Dortmund. Look over there on SofaScore, 81% of you believing that Barca will get the job done. Do I think, though, both teams will score, and of course, and with the second leg in mind here, it's obviously going to be important to see if we can keep a clean sheet, if we can shut out Dortmund. I'm not sure we will. I think they do carry a threat. I think they've got players there who can score, and plenty of people also believing it's going to be a both teams to score kind of game. But I do think we score first. And I think once we score first, we take that next step. We score more and more and more. We know all about what this Barca team can do. And please, guys, head over to SofaScore, leave your own predictions there, get involved in the weekly challenges, and follow the link in the description down below to catch up and get involved in all of that good stuff. Because when it comes down to it, when you have to give the all-important prediction, the score, what's going to happen? Barca are going to do this. Barca are going to take a big step early on here in the quarter-final. I am going to go with Barca 3, Borussia Dortmund 1. I think we will take a big step, an almighty move there, and carry a lot of confidence, a lot of momentum into the second leg when we head to Germany. It's going to be an important game. It's going to be an electric game. The atmosphere on Wednesday, it is going to be bouncing. And guys, please do let me know in the comments down below, what are you expecting? What is your score prediction? And how would you line up in this game? What are you feeling ahead of such an important moment, such a pivotal part of the season to come? Let me know that down below. I will see you soon with more build-up coming as we get ready to take flight. Thank you indeed for watching. Thank you for all of your support. But until next time, as always, Visca, el Barça!